1. I work at a fuel station that's part of a grocery chain. We start closing procedures about an hour before lockup, start shutting down sections in sequence: hot foods, hot drinks, frozen drinks, etc. I was in the back, washing up the trays from our hot foods, when my co-worker who was manning the register came up to me, because there was a spill at one of our pumps. Now, one of the rules for our fuel station is fuel spills are a priority over everything. So I drop what I'm doing, grab my coat, and head outside to clean up the spill before it either becomes too large or makes it into the sewer system. One requires the fire department to be called, and the other requires the EPA to be called. And I do not want to deal with either of those when we should be heading home in like half an hour. While pouring the cob, a ground-up substance that absorbs oil-based substances, but lets water pass through, over the spill, a woman starts yelling out to me from inside the store. I ask her to hold on a moment until I get the puddle, which was around 60 square feet at the time, covered, so it will stop spreading. I didn't think to realize that I had just met the entitled woman of this story. I get back inside while the cob starts soaking up the spill, and ask what happened. The entitled woman starts ranting that the nozzle is broken and just fell off, and that she wants reimbursement for the spilled fuel. My coworker was new, about 2 weeks on the job, and waited for me to handle it. This was a situation she wasn't prepped for yet. I explained that we're normally not liable for losses due to spills, but if it was a malfunction, we will. I head back to check the security cameras. All the while, the woman is complaining that she's running late for work, and now she has gas all over her front. I apologize, asking her to understand that it's policy. Not even store policy, as fuel has many government restrictions on it. Which is true, no gas station in the United States is liable for spills with the exception of faulty equipment. Auto shutoff is actually excluded there as they are not considered mandatory equipment, or personal error in states where it is a requirement that an attendant dispense fuel instead of the customer. Anyway, I see on the camera that the entitled woman puts the nozzle into her huge Hummer, and goes around the other side to take some trash out and walk around behind her vehicle to throw it away. Now, instead of either walking back around or waiting for the gas to finish pumping, she decides to lift the hose over her head and duck under it to get back to the driver door. This makes the nozzle fall out since she is essentially pulling on the hose. The funny part is, when she picks it up, she doesn't release the handle to stop it, and sprays gas all over the front of herself and the side of her car. She then places the nozzle on the ground while still dispensing, to come inside and say it's broken. It was actually the man at the pump behind her that turned off the nozzle and hung it up, keeping it from spilling further. At this point, any fucks I have are gone. I explain that she will get nothing for the spilled gas because nothing was broken, and the nozzle came out because she pulled it out while trying to limbo under it. We are not responsible for her screw-up. I head back out to start sweeping up the now absorbed spill. My co-worker tells the entitled woman the hours the manager will be in tomorrow. She follows me outside, continuing to prattle on about how I will be giving her a refund for the spilled gas. My switch is firmly into I don't give a fuck position now, so I keep my answers short while continuing my cleaning, not even looking at her the entire time. You will give me my money. I'm not leaving until you do. No, I won't. And you're late for work. Why do I have to pay for your broken machine? Because it's not broken. It fell right out. You pulled it out. I've been pumping gas for 14 years. I know how to do it. Bound to be one mistake in 14 years. I'll be back tomorrow morning to get my money from the manager. I promise you won't. I'll have your job for this. And she continued on a little bit, well, said nothing of import. She drives off after this. I have a memo for the opening manager to expect a visit or call. Turns out she did call, but 2 hours after the manager was scheduled out, which she was told the night before. The manager even stayed an hour late to be there for the visit or call. The manager was going to be out of state for the next 2 days, so she would have to wait until the following Monday to be helped, as only the manager has the clearance for a fuel refund to actually process in our registers. She swore at the person taking the call, as calls to her company are recorded, saying she works nights and just fucking woke up. And even though that conversation went around in circles several times, she did not grasp that there was nobody there to help her until Monday, because she never showed up for the visit she claimed she was going to make. I found out a week later, while I was initially spreading the cob, She was so irate that my coworker was so frightened, which I didn't know it was that bad inside, as there wasn't any aggression when I was initially told about the spill, until after I went to check the cameras, that she took a 20 from her own purse to give to the entitled woman for the refund, because she didn't know how to ring it out on the register, because there normally isn't a way. Entitled woman was also claiming to be calling her boyfriend to get him and his friend to come up and get the refund for her. Loss prevention found out about it, and she was charged with robbery, because she took the money from my coworker under threats of violence. She was also barred from any store our company owns within all 6 states. The icing on the cake? The credit card she used for gas was a fleet card her work provides her. One of our fleet cards, because her company was actually contracted under ours, that she can no longer use. 2. This happened during college of 2019 in the fall. I was a sophomore going into junior year, living solo in my own dorm room. My crazy neighbor and I only knew each other from dorm meetings until, one awkward night, I hopped out of the shower trying to walk back down to my room when I bump into them knocking on the door, swirling a martini glass, and very hydrated, slurring his words. "Hey, you brought that Scream costume, right?" Which roughly translated means, "Hello, neighbor. You purchased a Scream costume, is that correct?" Yeah? It felt like hours, but he proceeded to ramble on about horror films and asking what my favorites were, while I awkwardly answered and tried indicating I wanted to leave. Finally, he moved out of the way and told me to have a good night. I thought that was a bad first interaction, but can't get worse? I was wrong. Maybe 2 days later, I'm on my bed listening to YouTube or doing homework with headphones on, when I heard it. "Shut the fuck up!" I ripped my headphones off and kept my ear pressed against the door, looking through the peephole. Crazy neighbor went from screaming "shut the fuck up" to being dead silent. Volume-wise, he was all over the place. I made the mistake of opening my door. At that moment, so did he, stepping towards my door, holding a martini glass. He put his free hand on my door frame, like the way creepy cliché guys do when they're hitting on a girl. He brought up the conversation about my Scream costume again, as if he forgot we already had it. Bits and pieces I didn't catch, but 2 stuck out to me. You see that vacuum down there? Somebody fuck that vacuum cleaner, not cool. Oh yeah, someone shouldn't leave that on the floor. I'm thinking he knocked it over. Hey man, you know what we're gonna do? Referring to me. No, what? We're gonna crush some fucking side this year. Holds up his hands wanting a high five. I high-five him only to get him to hurry up and leave me alone. He walks off down the hall to a dorm at the end while I pick up the vacuum. Then I hear a girl annoyed go, not this again, what do you want? I see crazy neighbor having his hand on the doorframe of a girl's dorm. She doesn't seem to be in trouble, and he eventually skulks back to his room, going back to screaming "shut the fuck up" again. I go to the bathroom and find his smashed martini glass on the shower floor. I take a picture of it just in case I need it and head back to my room. Through the peephole, I see an RA pass by our rooms holding a laundry basket, when crazy neighbor screams "shut the fuck up" for the millionth time. RA turns to look at his door and puts the basket down and knocks on the door. Yeah? I just heard someone screaming. Listen, I've been getting non-stop complaints about threats and yelling coming from this room. Are you guys drinking? And is everybody okay in there? You're not our RA, so it's none of your business. We're fine. I did get a cut on my foot, though. Shows his cut foot to the RA. Whether I'm your RA or not, it's my duty to make sure people are safe around here. I'm the active RA, and those beer cans? These beer cans are littering the floor near the door. Takes a step forward. Crazy neighbor pushes him back. No, you're not RA. You can't come in my room. If you don't let me into the room, I'll call campus police. Do it! And he slams the door. Most of the conversation I can't catch. Those were the important highlights. I leave my room and tell the RA what I observed and show the picture of the martini glass on the shower floor. They say the crazy neighbor threatened him, among other threats directed at other people. I go back to my room until housing lady and RA meet outside the crazy neighbor's room. I tell the housing lady and her 2 associates what I observed. They thanked me and told me to return to my room. At this point, crazy neighbor and his friends are silent from here going forward. Passing lady contacts campus police for that building and room so they can get a key to open the door. She and her people and the RA leave. This ordeal started around 10 p.m. Campus police show up around midnight to nearly 1 p.m. Through the peephole, I see 6 or maybe 7 campus officers discussing going into the room. One officer getting the key ready, they knock several times, asking someone to answer the door immediately. Nothing. Finally, the officer unlocks the door and the cops flood in, turning on flashlights and pointing flashlights in every direction. The first thing that can be heard, of course, is Crazy Neighbor. "The fuck are you doing in my room? We're trying to sleep!" Disrespectful to police, stay classy, Crazy Neighbor. Campus police start removing Crazy Neighbor's roommates out into the hall and start questioning. Amid the commotion, I hear 2 officers talking to each other within the room, door wide open. "You see that over there?" "Yep, we got a box of nitrous oxide canisters in here." For those who don't know, nitrous oxide is essentially the stuff doctors and dentists use on patients to sedate them, making procedures painless. Or for people like Crazy Neighbor who abuse it for other reasons. How he got it or where, I have no idea. Crazy Neighbor is escorted out of the building with cops while the roommates return to their dorm, and I can now finally get to sleep. I wake at 11 a.m. to see through the peephole an officer propping the door open. Crazy Neighbor is in his room while another officer is helping pack his things. The officer asks if they will need multiple trips to get his stuff out of the room. He says no. The last I see of Crazy Neighbor is him carrying his stuff being escorted by the police at the building. I feel a bit bad for Crazy Neighbor's family. The college we attended was a private one and expensive at that. So to be kicked off campus because they did something stupid like this had to have hurt the family wallet. 3. So, I work at, let's say, an adult Toys R Us. And don't get me wrong, I absolutely love it, and surprisingly, most customers are super sweet. For me, it's my managers. A little backstory. I lost my job just before COVID lockdowns initially hit in 2019. I didn't know what was happening at the time, but it turns out I have gastroparesis. Partial paralysis of the bowels. It's never one set spot either, so hard to do surgery. I had to leave and be off work for almost 2 years straight, so as you can imagine, I was desperately looking for work since I was physically able to work again. The first, or I should say only place to this date, we'll call XS, calls me back in July of 2021. And it was honestly perfect timing. I just got a new apartment at that time, so money was tight with no job security. I explained to my bosses, P and J, during the interview that I can only do one-on, one-off type shift rotation, but can do long shifts. I just need recovery days, as any day I go out, no matter how long, drains me physically. So working longer hours, I wanted at least 20 hours minimum a week. They sound fairly understanding at first, but unfortunately, it slowly starts going to hell. More and more shifts working a full 6 days in a row. The whole 3 to 4 hour shifts a day. Yay? I basically only go in to clean the store and organize and mishandle stuff that other people, co-workers, don't want to deal with. Fast forward to a few weeks back from today, I applied to a college, and I told my one boss P that I would be unable to work from March to March, and that I also wrote it in our communications book. Reminds all workers what's going on. I thankfully get accepted into the course I wanted and told them that it's confirmed that I won't be coming in 100% on those days, as it's a non-refundable course. I wake up this morning to my boss, Jay, texting me, so professional I know, saying, copied and pasted, "FYI, you're scheduled for the days you asked off. This was already made a while back. We'll talk to you next shift." To this, I was of course kinda pissed, being the filler worker, yet we're all equal in roles, so I bite my tongue and explain once again. "Okay, but I won't be able to come in those days. I did give you a heads up in both the communication book and verbally about the course, like I did say the last shift. It's a course I've already paid for, and like I said, it goes from the end I gave him the dates and time. Thank you." Jay proceeds to talk to P because I get a call not long after saying, "Hey, we need to talk to you about your course the next shift." In the most parental, "I have something you don't want to hear. I don't want to deal with this type of tone," so I'm at the point where I may very well be told that they don't have enough people to cover for me. The lack of planning isn't my crisis. But I'm also nervous as I'm going to be going to my course either way. But I feel like it may cause P and J to get over-aggressive or overschedule me 6 days in a row again. Don't get me wrong, if it wasn't a whole 3 hours when others were getting 8 to 9 hour shifts, I wouldn't mind. I need more money, and barely getting by with the hours I get. It's gotten to the point where my bosses sat there and compared her cold and being sluggish and not wanting to do anything to my gastroparesis. Like, thanks, yep, definitely the same. I'm hitting such a hard burnout with this job, but no calls back. 4. This happened a couple weeks ago. At my workplace, we work by appointments only, and are often full and have a waiting list. There was this new client, Ken. Now, Ken had an appointment set for a Friday with my colleague Nancy. He didn't show up. He also didn't call to cancel, nor did he call to reschedule. On Tuesday morning the following week, our receptionist stepped out, and coincidentally, I was tinkering with her computer up front when Ken walks in through the door. Ken, in his own words and with a lot of demand in his voice, stated he missed his appointment Friday because he just couldn't bother to come. But now he's here and needs to see Nancy immediately because it's an emergency. First off, all clients are referred and we do not handle emergencies. It's actually a red flag in our field. Therefore, the client would not have been referred to us in the first place. Secondly, at the time that Ken showed up, Nancy was not in at work as yet. Thirdly, although Nancy would be in during the afternoon, she's all booked full. Explained to Ken that Nancy is not available and don't know what time she would be getting in. I knew, but didn't want him sitting there and waiting for her. Asked him why he didn't call to reschedule. His response, he didn't feel the need to, and since it's an emergency, I should call her in. Told him as politely as possible it's against company policies to call in any staff that's not scheduled to work. And if it's an emergency, he's at the wrong establishment. Told him I can make an appointment for him with Nancy at her soonest availability. He refused. Still insists he has an emergency and needs to be seen ASAP. He was starting to get on my nerves, but he gets even worse. He then insisted someone else needs to tend to him if Nancy is not available. Told him that this was not possible either, as everyone is fully booked that day. He then points out that I'm standing there, so I must be available. Told him no, I'm not, as my next appointment is in the next 5 minutes, and I'm only up front to sort out my schedule. He then insists that I can take a few minutes out from my following client to tend to him. I told him that would not be fair to my client, and what we do is professional and precise work which requires time, and proper intake alone would take 30 minutes. He kept insisting I can, offer him a few minutes, and I'm being very unprofessional. At this point my blood was boiling. Kept going back and forth with him on why he can't be seen that day. Then he suddenly asked for my name, which I gave. Then he spits out, and I quote, "Pamela, have you ever heard about compassion?" That was when I slammed both my palms on the desk in front of me and took a deep breath in. During this time of our back and forth, the receptionist had actually returned and was standing in a corner listening to our convo. When she saw me slam my hands down, she quickly stepped forward and interjected. She didn't even give Ken a moment to speak. She just kept repeating to him, "Sir, we have your number. We will call you ASAP when an opening becomes available." She must have repeated it at least 5 times, with Ken trying to cut in. He finally gave in and said this call better be soon, and left. I pushed aside and was deeply breathing to calm my anger. The receptionist turned to me and said, "I don't know who that jerk was. I don't have his name, and we certainly don't have his number. So if he's expecting a call, he can keep dreaming." I honestly couldn't remember his name either, so even if we wanted to, we couldn't call. My next client was sitting there waiting for me and heard parts of my interaction with Ken. Took her in, and we had a laugh about his entitlement, which helped calm me down. 5. I work in IT for a big system house for a big automotive manufacturer. The processes for service are quite clear, and my company and the company we provide services for agreed on. No ticket, no service. Some middle management, however, think they are more important than anyone else. Like the guy I had a few weeks ago. He came to my office and asked if I could do some work on his laptop. I'll call him MF for management funzy. Listen, I have this problem with my laptop. You have an appointment? May I ask with whom? I know you're not one of my customers. I'll call the co-worker for you and he'll come by and we'll take care of your problem. I don't have an appointment. I just came by because there's a problem with my laptop. I see. Do you have a ticket ID for me, so I can see what the colleagues at the back office already did to fix your problem? I don't have a ticket. I just came by because I have this problem with my laptop. Oh, that's not good. I need a ticket before I'm allowed to help you. Company policy, you know. You need a ticket. Without a ticket, I'm not allowed to help you with your problem. You have to call the help desk, open a ticket, and first level support will see if your problem can be solved remote. I already knew that first level could fix it. The problem is well known and can be solved remote. Then open one. Me? No, sorry, can't do. I'm not allowed to open a ticket unless you're a premium customer. Otherwise, this could be considered fraud. I'm the head of XYZ department. If I say open a ticket, you have to. No, I don't. Unless you're a premium support customer, you have to open a ticket first. I'm a premium support customer, and I order you to open that ticket and fix my laptop. No, you're not. Are you accusing me of lying? Yes. I work premium support for over 2 years now, and I know every premium customer, some even by first name. You're neither Mr. CEO or a member of the board of directors, nor are you one of their assistants, and obviously not a secretary to the board of directors. Therefore, you're not premium support, and therefore you have to open a ticket if you want us to help you with your problem. This is outrageous. I will make a complaint. Be my guest. Manager Fonzie storms off, blabbering stuff about who he is, who I think I am, and how this will have consequences. 10 minutes later, I get a call from my department head, fine upper management, aka Kung Fu Panda. Hey, the simple mind, how are you? Hey, Fu, fine, nice to hear from you. How about you? We chat for a few minutes until he drops the bomb. Listen, simple mind, I've just got a call and a complaint about you. It was you. Yeah, it was me. He came in and I tell him what happened. Am I in trouble? No. I only called to let you know that he called me and made a big fuss about you calling him a liar and refusing to help him without a ticket. That's right. I told him you're right. He is a liar. He has to open that goddamn ticket, and then he'll have to wait patiently until someone from your crew contacts him to fix his shit. Do you already know what's wrong? Yeah, first level can fix it in 5 minutes by remote. Okay, that's fine. If first level can fix it, you have my permission to take all the time you need to fix it. If he escalates, give me a call and I'll send him to my boss. Bye. Bye, see you tomorrow at the department meeting. I really like Fu. He's always on the side of the guys doing the work if some Karen tries to play games like this. Hey everybody, Hellfreezer here, and thank you very much for listening to Idiots in the Wild, episode 52. And thank you very much to everybody who allowed me to use their stories in this video. If you enjoyed the video, then please do share it around, do the likes, the comments, and the subscribes if you haven't already done so. And if you have subscribed, do bear in mind the channel is daily, unless I'm not able to upload. The channel is daily, so if you don't see a video from me go up one day, you might want to have a look to see if there is one, because some people aren't getting notifications, some people are getting unsubscribed. No, it's happening. Every YouTuber will tell you it's happening because we've all been told by long-time subscribers that thought you weren't uploading anymore. Turns out you were, and I was just not subscribed. So, just a reminder, it's worth checking if you want to keep seeing them videos. You can also hit the notification bell. Should I use the term ding the dong? Oh, already did. Okay, so maybe do that. Let's see, what day is it today? It's the 1st of March, isn't it? It is 1st of March. I have to start thinking about buying Easter eggs for my niece soon. Maybe one for myself, but shh, that's just between you and I. Okay, and with that, I'm going to head off for now. So until next time, thank you very much for listening, and take very good care of yourself.